to Business Growth School for Service Providers podcast. I'm your host Ali Salman, and this podcast is brought to you by Rapid Boost Marketing, online marketing for service providers. Are you a dentist, realtor, lawyer, accountant? Do you provide services locally? Then this podcast is for you. Here we share strategies, tricks, and techniques on how to generate more leads and sales using online marketing. Join us every day for 5 minutes and take away strategies which you can apply in your business. Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Business Growth School for Service Providers. Today I'm talking about a really interesting topic, but before we get started on tracking for success, let me tell you why tracking and measuring is so important in your life, right? Let's say example, you cook. You cook anything, right? You follow a recipe, right? And you track that, okay, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Similarly, you're going into a destination, you're using GPS to track your coordinates. So how far have you gotten? How much drive is left, right? Okay. Another example is you go to the gym, right? And if you really want to get a six-pack, right, you basically make sure you are tracking your progress, right? Again, another example of day-to-day life is our oil changes of a car we do, right? We put in an oil, then we track it. Okay, well, if you put synthetic oil, then after 6,000 or 8,000 kilometers, we have to get that oil change. So tracking and measuring is really important because it saves you three things. It saves you time, it saves you energy, and it saves you money. But here's an example. Last month, I was talking to a business owner, right? And guess what? We were having a conversation about tracking. That business spends $80,000 on marketing per year. So give and take, right? Anywhere from $7,000 to $8,000 a month. That's perfect. That's a really good, decent budget. Guess what? They have no idea as to how well are they doing across the different channels, right? Okay, where leads are coming from, what quality of leads are coming from, which channel is outperforming other channel. They had no idea. It was basically they're just throwing money and expecting things to basically work out, right? And they were just trying new things, spend, let's say, $8,000 on a radio campaign, have no tracking mechanism. Another way was sent out a mail post campaign, have no idea, ran Instagram ads, have no idea if they worked or not. And this what is the problem with a lot of service providers, that they are not tracking, they are not measuring for success. Because if you don't measure and track for success, right, you don't know where you're heading, right? And if you don't know where you're heading, how can you improve? How can you actually they get better, right? There's no way. If you're not tracking, you will not get better at it, right? So let's talk about tracking for success. How to measure your success when it comes to online marketing and digital marketing of your business, right? So you don't waste time, so you don't waste energy, and so you don't waste money, because these three things are really important for you. And I know that, guys, right? You are busy individuals as service providers. So let's talk about Google Analytics. Simple thing, right? Your most important asset online is your website. You need to know that, where people are going on your website, what pages they are visiting, right? How long they are staying, what pages of the website attracts the most visitors, what pages of the website converts the most visitors. All those really important things, right? Google Analytics tell you. Google Analytics also have a conversion pixel. What it does, let's say if someone fills out a form, someone click to calls you, someone takes any kind of particular action which you count as a conversion, right? It can help you track that. And if you know that that person came from organic search, they went on your About Us page, then went on your service page, that's where they converted. You exactly know the exact touch point from the first point they came across your ad, or they found you somewhere, to the last moment when they filled out a form. And you can also track that if they converted or not, right? So then you know that if we generated over 100 leads, right, where exactly those leads came from, right? Second thing, email tracking. Very important. For a local service-based business, usually it's emails or it's calls or it's walk-ins. Three to four ways that people usually contact you, right? So
email tracking is really important. Why do I say that? It's not just going as far as email came, like the lead came from an email. That's good. Of course, customer filled out a form. But where did that customer came from? What pages did they visited, right? If you have that information, guess what? You can actually close really, really well, right? So email tracking is really, really important, not only for you to understand where that customer came from, but also for you to help you close that customer better. Because let's say if you're a dentist and that customer came from dental implants page, you know that this person is looking for dental implants, right? Without even contacting them. So when you pick up a phone, you have your pitch ready, right? Call tracking, again, very important, guys. Businesses don't track calls a lot of times. When I was talking to someone, they said, you know what, Ali, we're not getting leads. I said, okay, let's check your call tracking, right? And guess what it was? Call tracking has a lot of leads in there. But the front end desk, right, wasn't converting them well. That means the conversion mechanism of the lead, your lead to sales conversion was broken, needs improvement, right? But how can you track? Not only that, how can you track that? Let's say if you got 7 leads, right, where they found you, how they got to your website, how they ended up calling you. You need to track that. And if you need to do that, you need call tracking in place. It's really, really important. As I said, if you need to understand where people are coming from, you need to understand where they're finding you. You need to understand, especially the calls are coming from. Guys, very important, do call tracking. I give you an example. We work with a sign company, right? So we needed to find out how many people look at their signs and actually end up calling to the company, right? And we start assigning different call tracking numbers to the sign. Guess what? You will start tracking that, okay, hey, XYZ sign at this location is generating 7 calls. XYZ sign on that location is generating 10 calls. That's how you can actually track, and it's really, really, really accurate tracking, right? CRO tracking. What do I mean by that? So this is not one one tracking, like the 3-way tracking we talked about, Google Analytics, email tracking, call tracking. CRO tracking is not tracking through one tool. It's basically using multitude of tools and help you understand that, okay, well, what's really happening on the most important asset of your business, which is your website. Example, heat maps, scroll maps, click data, where people are going, how are they browsing, how are they spending time, right? You can see an example of our customer, right? How people are spending time on your on your website. You need to understand, where are they clicking, how are they going to different places, right? Because if you know that, you can actually improve your website. Not only that, you need to understand that what's costing you money on the website, where are the leaks on the website. What do I mean by that is, let's say you have a really good page and you have a mediocre page. The really good page converts at 7%, mediocre page converts at 3%. There you see the difference, almost 4% difference in conversion rate, just of a single page. So if you start improving your pages, right, okay, you can get a better conversion rate. But how can you know that where to improve, how to improve? That's where CRO tracking comes in. And CRO stands for conversion rate optimization. As I say, juicing out the lemon more, because you're already getting traffic, you're already getting data. But how are they reacting on your website? Why are they converting at 7%? Why not 10%? Why not 15%? This is the tool which actually helps you. This is an ongoing mechanism. All these tools are basically an ongoing mechanism. Intention is to basically help you improve. And there's one last tool which I highly, highly recommend service providers to have, is basically a CRM, a customer relationship management tool, which you can also use it as email marketing, which basically encompasses all these areas, right? And basically puts it together, gives a perspective, and basically helps you automate a lot of these processes through email marketing to continuous touch points with your customer, right? So hopefully, you learn something about tracking in this, video. Go to the show notes. I actually have examples. I have actually tools for individually. Google Analytics, straightforward. Different tools you can use for email tracking, different tools you can use for call tracking, different tools you can use for CRO tracking. And this another tool we personally use, we give it to our clients. You can see an example in the screen that this is how we track internal progress for our clients, basically having all of these tools which I talked about at one place. So customer can see that, hey, what's happening with your website, right? A business can see like where people are going, how's your Facebook doing, how's your Twitter doing, how's your Instagram doing, where people are coming on your website from, like how are they converting, where are they converting? And that's how you'll be able to close the gap of tracking for success in digital marketing and measuring your success in digital marketing, right? So post any questions, any thoughts, any comments you have, in the comment section, wherever you're watching this video or a podcast. I would love to hear from you guys very quickly. And I'll catch you tomorrow, right, in another fresh episode of this Growth Service Providers. Have a good day, guys. Ciao.
Hey, thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to listen to previous episodes, go to rapidboostmarketing.com/grow. Again, I'll repeat that, rapidboostmarketing.com/grow. I'll catch you tomorrow bright and early with another business growth lesson. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.